Christian, do you feel like an old man yet in this league?
Yeah, actually a little bit. I feel like I've been in here for a while. Year 4 sounds crazy. I can't believe I'm year 4, but definitely not old man.
Yeah, year 4. Talk about year 4. Sounds crazy. It's a long time. Try 12.
I want to try 12.
I'm sure you will. You'll play as long as you want.
Yeah, I think each year I got to prove myself. I think that's the most important part. Coming in, like you said, like Coach said, I think that our team's so deep. Last year, play good, play bad. I knew I was going to play a ton of minutes. I think this year we got guys that can come in and play. So, every single night I need to be ready to play. I need to prove myself in training camp and practice. Just be ready to play every single night. And I think that's a good thing for us. We're going to have guys that can play, guys that do different things. So, I'm really excited for that.
Welcome back, guys. AG, I saw an interview you did with 361 over the summer. You said this is the best I've ever been at basketball. Do you feel like, you're still in your athletic prime, probably smarter than ever. Is this the moment you look at in your career, your age, where everything kind of is at the peak at the same time?
Yeah, definitely wouldn't say athletic prime. I was jumping over mascots when I was 22. But I think there's a point where like the IQ and your skill set and your athleticism all kind of meet at a certain level, and that's what I feel I'm at.
How long did the hamstring issue that you were dealing with in the playoffs, how long did that linger into the summer? How did that affect your offseason?
Not much. I took probably 3 or 4 weeks off, and then when it was time to come back to train, started slow, started spots and a little bit of movement, but then by the time I was ready to train again, it was already healed.
Aaron, between Jones, Cam, and Tim, obviously you pretty well. A couple guys that have been around the league quite a while. What's your relationship with those fellas in the league, and how do you see them integrating into your team?
High character guys in this squad, top and bottom. We got good people, good players, and guys that want to win, guys that care about basketball. And they can hoop. So when it comes down to it, the ball players, they understand what we're looking to do, and I think they're going to fit in seamlessly.
Last season, you guys won 50+ games, but you both expressed frustration throughout the season with the defensive end. You got new coaching staff here in place. Do you guys want changes made to some things, or do you want to be able to have like a better sense of consistency and know exactly what you guys are going to be doing going into the season?
I don't know about. I think just effort. Every single night. I think that last year, like we said, I think we're deeper this year, and I think that's good for our effort. Every single night we're gonna have energy, and we have guys that are injured and whatnot. But I think we've always had a good, what do you call that? Like frame for defense. We've always had a good idea, and then in the playoffs, we're obviously, always a little bit better. I think we raise our level, but I think if we can get to a point where we're playing at that playoff level every single night, we're not trying to outscore teams. I think that that'll be good for us, and try to blow teams out a little more, this year. I think that starts on the defensive end, and when we're playing defense, we're the best team in the NBA typically. So just trying to be more consistent with our effort, be more consistent. I think that JD's done a really good job already of, we have some different things, but a lot of it's the same stuff, and a lot of it's just effort. So as long as we can do that consistently each night, we got a really good chance.
Yeah, I think if we get to about around top 10 defensively, it's going to put us in a position to win it all.
Jamal and Bruce Brown, one of the guys who talked about how winning is paramount. It feels like there's a bit of a refresh in the air entering into this season. Just curious, after the last 2 years for both of you, is there anything you identified? They say hindsight's 2020 that maybe was lacking from the last 2 years that you're trying to get back to that you had with that championship run?
No, I think you can kind of point at whatever you want to point at, blame whatever you want to blame. But I think that most importantly this year is everything we've asked for, everything everybody in this locker room has wanted, we have. And everything we need is inside our locker room right now. We have new energy, new coaches, new players. We got shooting, we got defense, we got literally everything we've ever asked for. We have, and so I don't want to look back and try to blame whatever it was last year or the year before that. Let's just go do it this year. I think that's the biggest point. Make sure it's a no excuse year. there's not many opportunities where you're going to have a team this talented and this deep. So we got to take the most out of each opportunity, make the most out of this team that we have this year.
Last season, your player was the most possible points. Have you ever thought about that when you entered the league? And this season, definitely going to face more defense from opponents. How about that focus level?
Yeah, I think last year that was a big thing for me. Obviously, it helped our offense when Jokic was kicking it ahead. And when these guys were out, I think sometimes I got to get out and run. I think it's big for our offense to find the corners and finding Cam Johnson in the corner for threes. And whatever, he shot 43% from three last year too. So I think maybe collapse the defense for those guys. And if I can find a way, to help those guys on that, and that's what I try to do. And running a fast break last year was the biggest way I could do that.
Aaron Gordon, this question is for you. So 361 just released a sneak peek of the AG6s. How much goes into the design, and how much do you have as far as the influence goes on what those come out to be?
A lot. We do a lot of creative direction, and they do a good job of, taking my advice and taking my input and coming out with a shoe. So I send them a lot of retros. That's what it comes down to, like just shoes that I grew up playing in, whether it be up tempos or I don't know, but these like just picking and pulling from a lot of different shoes from what I've worn as a kid, and then so this is what I want, and they do a great job of going into my background and who I am as a person and kind of bringing it all together and putting it into a shoe.
Christian, so for you, you've been all over social media in the gym lately. So what would you say you're looking to add to your game going into this season?
I think everybody across the league, in the summer is trying to improve on, whatever it is. I think that three-point volume is something people are going to look at. Trying to keep that percentage high and shoot more threes. But for me, I say the same thing every year. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna take what's open for me and what's good for this team. I'm not a guy that's ever gonna end up just chucking up threes. I think that I try to play to my strengths. Try to do what I can to make this team be as good as possible. And so just doing the same things as I always do, trying to be good at what I'm good at and not trying to be anybody else but myself.
Aaron, you had incredible improvement in three-point shooting last year, way over 40%. A lot of credit was given to you working out in your gym or your court in your house. I'm wondering how much of that work did you do this summer? The shots you put up, can you take us through that?
Yeah, I put a lot of shots up this summer, but more so I worked on my body, because I don't think I was on the floor enough last year. So that was the majority of my focus, was making sure that I'm ready for the marathon.
Aaron, right after you won the championship, you sat down there and said Brucey B wasn't going anywhere, but of course he did. How happy are you when he decided to come back? How much of a role do you think he played, and what's he done since he's been back to help, bring the vibes?
Listen, if I was the one that said Brucey B not going anywhere, I was bullshit. Brucey B had to go get a bag, but he loves it in Denver. We love him in Denver, and he's a champion, and he's looking to put a two-time in front of his name.
For both of you guys, there's been a whole bunch of talk today about just the vibes are at an all-time high, the camaraderie and honoring is fantastic. What are you guys seeing this year compared to the start of seasons years past?
I would say what stuck out this summer, I think everybody kind of says that when you're in training camp, so it's more about what you do. But I think this summer, I think the talent in the gym has kind of stood out to me. The guys we've had here, the pickup games, whatever it is. We've had a ton of guys here, and I just think the talent level has been at an all-time high. And whoever's been here has played well. Guys are putting in the work, and it's like I said, everybody kind of has the same talks at training camp. It's more about what you do as a team. When that time does come, we got to win games, and that's all that matters.
Christian, you were eligible for a contract extension this summer. Is there any frustration that it hasn't happened yet, or kind of what's your outlook?
No, there's no frustration. I think that it's going to happen. At some point, whatever happens. And I think that the most important part is I need to show up and do my job. I think that's kind of how I've always been, so that doesn't change. I think that I owe it to these guys. I owe it to the city of Denver. I owe it to these people to show up and do what I do. Continue to work hard. Continue to put the work in. All that stuff will take care of itself, and I know that.
Aaron, you had that great shooting year last year, obviously was very versatile, smart, connector, passer, playmaker. But obviously, it's a deeper team, a lot more guys that can fill those roles. How do you balance between being a shooter, a scorer, versus like being more classic Aaron Gordon, fully ball, especially with the course of the ball leading to the season?
I'm gonna just turn up on defense. So we have so much talent on the offensive side. I'm not even really worried about it. That's gonna, like what CB was talking about, I'll just take what is over for me and do what I can to take the pressure off of us if the game gets stymied or whatever. But really, I'm just worried about defense. I'm gonna just turn up on that end of the floor and let the cards fall where they may after that.
Christian, just piggyback on that, just with the extension talks, like, when this sort of thing starts to come up, your second contract, obviously is a potential, but also sort of a, maybe not sentimental level, but just where you want to be. Have you started to just sort of think about long-term future, just like wanting to be part of the Nuggets core for the foreseeable future? Or how do you kind of envision, I guess, the long-term for you?
Yeah, I think obviously everybody thinks about it. I don't want to be anywhere besides being a Denver Nugget. I think everybody knows that. Like I said, I think I owe it to these guys. I owe it to the team, to the city, to continue just to approach the game the way I always approach it. I'm not going to worry about that stuff. These guys don't owe me anything. I need to put in the work and make sure I earn it every single day. Whenever that time comes, if it comes, that's great. But like I said, I'm going to show up and do the same things I've always done. Approach the game the same way I always approached it. And let all those things kind of fall, how they fall.
Thank you guys. Yeah.